We are dedicated to making Cornwall and the Isles of Scilly a better place for all. Last year alone, we distributed £3.2 million to 675 projects, which is more than the National Lottery distributed in Cornwall. We support small grassroots organisations that are embedded in their communities. You probably haven't heard of half of the organisations we support, small groups without any marketing or fundraising departments that are making a real difference. The research highlights the challenges that our communities face and how local giving can make a huge difference by addressing the urgent and often overlooked areas of need. The average home costs 8.8 times of the average earnings in Cornwall compared to 7.5 times in England. While earnings have doubled since 1997, house prices have more than quadrupled. More than 21,000 households are on the social and affordable housing register. There is a lack of social housing in Cornwall. Social rented properties represented 13% in Cornwall compared to 17% in England. Monthly rent in Cornwall was £957 as of April 2025. A year ago, it was £880, which is an 8.4% increase in a year. It is clear that housing and homelessness remains one of the key issues.
Over the last year, we've been working with local housing and homelessness organisations to understand their challenges and their funding needs. And from this expertise, we've developed a new fund that aims to support the voluntary sector to meet the increasing demand for their services. These volunteers really are Cornwall's unsung heroes. So in addition to funding for homelessness charities, we also want to increase the number of affordable homes for local people. As Tamas highlighted, the shortage of affordable homes is a major factor behind many of the challenges that Cornwall faces today. With early stage funding to create affordable homes that are owned by and for the local community, ensuring they remain protected from being sold for profit. And over the years, this will deliver hundreds of new, affordable, community-owned homes developed by local people for local people.
To put this in context and the housing crisis in Cornwall, St Petrocs is nearly 40 years old now, and we've grown over those years to face the demand that is thrown at us. In terms of the numbers of people we work with, last year in 2024, we worked with 1,402 people, the vast majority of whom have a close connection to Cornwall. I'm really pleased to say that on 537 occasions last year, we ended people's homelessness, and that's a real achievement. And not only do we end homelessness, we also prevent it wherever we can. And we will work and do whatever we can to prevent somebody from having to experience rough sleeping. I think Cornwall Community Foundation, in creating this housing fund, are looking to the future really well. And the work of St Petrocs is really done at that sort of crisis point. Really, through the proactive work of the Community Foundation, looking at housing supply more generally, it will help other organisations and organisations like ourselves tackle prevention more upstream. It is really important that we make the experience of homelessness as short as possible. And part of the work we do is around, especially over the winter time, offering emergency accommodation. And I'm really pleased to say over the last winter, we provided emergency accommodation for 107 people. And 91% of those people did not return to rough sleeping after. It's more than just a roof over somebody's head. It's around the support and opportunity that we try to provide people when they come into our accommodation. So it's about connecting people with opportunities to make sure that their experiences of homelessness is not repeated. And when they move on successfully, like Max has done, they do not return to homelessness. And it is possible to see a future for Cornwall without homelessness being a significant issue.
It's been a long old road, you know, but it was made a lot easier through coming to St Petrocs. Before I came into St Petrocs, my life was destroyed, or at least I thought it was. I couldn't see a way out of how I was living my life. Within 4 days of me I think it was 4 days before I left the rehabilitation centre, I'd found a property. Very fortunate, very lucky, and I was driven to that place afterwards. And I remember turning up to that place with multiple pieces of paper and pieces of tissue with phone numbers on, and I remember just thinking, you know, this is it. This is where I'm at. And from that day, I received nothing but support and love from these people. You know, when I arrived at St Petrocs, I came with a bag of clothes, multiple bags of clothes. Now I work 2 jobs. You know, I have a fully self-supporting house. I'm currently off benefits. I don't want to sound like a big head, but I run ultra marathons. My life has transformed. There is a way to live life past a crisis or whatever it's been experienced. Your money impacts and has tremendous and provides tremendous opportunities for people like myself that had nothing. And now I'm starting to be in the stream of life, which I'm grateful for. So it's good to be here. It's good to talk to you all. And I think I'll leave it at that for now.
We've been open for 16 years, and I have seen a significant increase in people needing our services. But we're not just a food bank, we offer much more than food. They come to us for a food box, but during a chat, we often hear about multiple problems and how they're overwhelmed with such amazingly complex situations. But our stats are showing that the 24-25 stats show a 10.3% increase in our referrals are for people insecurely housed. And that's a huge increase on previous years. We're making more and more kettle boxes for people with no cooking facilities. We're seeing more and more homeless people or people with housing problems coming through our door every day. Thank you to Cornwall Community Foundation and to your donors and for trying to help tackle this huge problem. Thank you so much.
Where is that housing coming from? And our particular slant on it is from communities. That's why the Community Foundation matters so much to what we're doing. And I very rarely get the chance to say to donors, to supporters, about just how great Cornwall Community Foundation is. It's a thing that doesn't get said often enough. It was the foundation that helped us get through COVID. It was the foundation that made a load of things happen because you lot are fast, you understand what's going on, you actually know who's involved and who's working well, and you're there for us. We're community organisers. Our whole organisation came out of community development, not directly out of housing. So we come from the same background that the previous 2 speakers come from. This is a genuine addition to all the other great work going on around housing in a town where there's simply no rented accommodation available. Not a question of can we afford it, there is nothing. So people either leave or they stay stuck with their families indefinitely or they go homeless. Because the problem is we can't make the first moves, all right? The examples I showed you just now, all 3, Corsand, Lou and Downderry, were all funded in this initial primary stage by Cornwall Council from a feasibility fund which they had, which is now gone. There's no money left. We've got 4 more projects which we could start, but we need a chunk of money for the initial work, architect, surveyor, do the finances, ensure that the thing is in fact viable. We're talking somewhere between £30,000 and £50,000 for one of these projects. A lot of money, but that's the bit that's blocking us. If we get it from somewhere, we'll unlock low millions on these projects and we will build the housing. And then I got an email from Cornwall Community Foundation. We want to talk to you about Choke Point, about what's not working. Hey, that's why I'm here talking to you from the mountains of northern Spain, even though you can't see me, because this really matters. This is a really big deal. People say to me, I do public meetings, but is it too good to be true? It is not. It is true, not just because we've run the figures we know. We've done it.